Hey, this is Mike from Helium Street, and welcome once again to the Helium Miner installation series. Now today we're on the Blue series, and we're specifically on episode 4. So episode 4 is all about antenna mast assembly, and installation of the antenna mast on your roof. So if that's what you're looking for, then you are in the right place. Now don't forget, you can go to heliumstreet.com and you can access all the parts and the pieces related to this specific installation, not just for this specific episode, but all the episodes. Go to heliumstreet.com and you'll be able to see all those links. Also, you can go to the very bottom of that page. You can see all the different videos that are in the series. So you can actually access the videos from that page on the website. So stick around. This is going to be a good one. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So we've got this antenna mount that we ordered on Amazon. I really like this. It's a slimmer design than this larger style that we have in other videos, but I mean, both of them are a great antenna. This one just happens to be one that I think has a little bit more flexibility, and you can see that it has a nice swivel at one end. And then comes down, clamps to this elbow piece, and then has an extension. Now this extension part right here is a add-on piece, and that is something that you order separate in the listing. And so that all that information will be separate in the links, so you can order the antenna and this one piece or two pieces or three pieces of extension. I just have the one piece right now. Now you could order additional 18-inch sections on top of this if you'd like to. So that's up to you. If you think that the weight isn't a concern, then go for it. If in my case, I don't really need to do it. Now, also, I've ordered this set of brackets. Now, these are stainless steel brackets. I think one of the screws is in my pocket, probably, but I had to order or purchase additional stainless steel bolts and also nuts and washers for this application. The nuts and the bolts that come with this won't really work, so I'll go ahead and put those back in the bag and toss those aside. I've had to order additional stainless steel, 2-inch stainless steel bolts. These are 1/4 and we'll use these to attach first set of brackets to the antenna mast, and then we'll also then have an additional set of brackets that'll stand off of this antenna mast, which will hold the actual antenna. Now we're going to be attaching the antenna on the outside. I guess if you can't see this bracket right here at the end, we're going to be attaching this on the outside versus the inside of the bracket. And the purpose for that is because we want to make sure that we're giving our antenna as much preference as we can. We don't want the antenna behind the mast, so we want it in front of it. And so that's just one thing to consider when you're doing your application. So first thing we'll do is we're going to go ahead and get the additional nuts and washers that we purchased. Now these are all stainless steel. I went ahead and decided to go to the extreme here. It's probably not necessary. I think a zinc coating is probably sufficient. But for the sake of this demonstration, I have this all done in stainless steel. So the first thing I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and put the bolts through this first set, or this first bracket. And then that then would go right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and slide a bracket over the top. Okay. And now what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and put a couple washers on. And then what I'll be doing here is I'm going to be fixing this kind of in a loose way. I'm going to give it a little bit of a gap here. A little bit of space here between the bracket and the top of the antenna mast. And that's just so that I can attach maybe a cap onto the top of this, a rubber plug cap on top later on if I can find one. Maybe I'll have one listed in the description section of the video or at heliumstreet.com. Now this is the Blue series, so just for clarification, this is a Blue series video. So All the other details related to this application are going to be in Blue Series. So let me go get a proper wrench, and I'll be right back. Okay, got my 7/16 wrench. Okay, next we're going to go ahead and put this set of bracket on. And okay, next we're going to put a nut on, another nut. And another couple washers. Okay. And then we're going to be loose fit attaching this antenna. So what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and tighten down these top nuts, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to tighten the inside nuts up into the bottoms of these brackets. So if I flip it, there we go. All right, so this is a perfect fit. A 2-inch bolt comes out exactly perfect with these 2 sets of brackets. So it's attaching this bracket to the mast, and then another set of brackets on the same bolt are holding the antenna together. So this is a really good fit. It's a stainless steel application. Not only is the bracket stainless, but also the nuts and the bolts and the washers. So this is a good setup. So what I'll do now, this is an 8 dBi antenna, is I'll detach this entire mast, detach it from the bracket, this bracket right here, and I'm going to attach this bracket to the building. So I'm going to go to the site now, and we'll go ahead and install this. All right, so now we're back at the site here, and you know, safety first and all that. You know, we got to make sure that we've got a proper ladder for the area, and you're not working too high up on top of the ladder. So when I do these installations, I try to make sure that obviously I'm being as safe as I possibly can. And so the deal here is that I detached the bracket from the antenna mast itself, and so then I just had the bracket in my hand. And so I could take that bracket, which is just basically it's a small piece of sheet metal, easy to handle. And so I took it up and I put it up on the vinyl block that would normally be used for, like, for example, an outdoor light. But the homeowner never installed it, so we were kind of lucky in that we were able to use that block. This was on the back side on the back side of a garage. So it's a perfect location, really. And so basically, you just basically set the bracket up, and then if you needed to level it, you would bring up a small level and level that to make sure, because as soon as you get the antenna mast on it, if it's off just a little bit, it's really going to be exaggerated when you get up high. Okay, so you got to make sure that you're really, really straight with your bracket when you put it up. Learn from experience on that. So go ahead and set your bracket, get it basically level or plumb. Mark your holes with a Sharpie, then get everything else out of your hands so that you can properly hold onto the ladder and drill at the same time. And basically you drill your pilot holes. I used zinc plated galvanized lag screws, and you don't need real long screws here. If you're going into backer boards, then you will need longer screws. I think on a couple of the screws that I put in, I think I missed the backer board and I only got into the plywood, but you win some, lose some. I wasn't about to go and restructure the back side of inside of the roof there. Basically, I just used what was there. And so basically, you just set the bracket up to the vinyl block and get your holes marked out, drill your holes, and then come back with your fasteners. Make sure you're using washers where you can use washers. Now, sometimes with these brackets, certain areas there's not enough room to put a washer also, and so the holes in the bracket have like maybe a little bit of a flange that comes up around the edge, so you can't use a washer. And I think you'll see that on a close-up view when we get a little bit further on. You'll certainly see it when you watch the grounding video, which really highlights up close that part of the antenna mast, because when we ground the mast, you're getting right up there next to it at the base. So here I am putting basically everything's put up. I bolted everything down tight, and then I brought my antenna up that was already attached to the mast, and I'm putting the mast up here, and I'm basically rotating it in position, getting it ready for really for the next step, which is to attach all the wires and basically get it ready to really ready to go inside and set up the hotspot miner itself. So basically that's the installation of the antenna mast. It's a really good look. I'm really happy with the way that this turned out, especially with the extension that gave us another 18 inches. So yeah, awesome. All right, so I'm not going to do this completely with only one hand, but basically I'm going to be using my DeWalt Impact. I like this because it's easy to take the bits in and out. It's a nice unit. We're going to go ahead and use a 1-inch spade bit for this, and basically I use the spade bit. I could use a hole saw to go through this, but with a hole saw, you got to pull that plug out of every time. You know, you got to pull the plug out of the inside of the hole saw. It's just a real pain in the butt. As long as it's not super cold out, this spade bit will be fine. So basically I'm going to be going through right here. I'm not going to do it with one hand, so I'll be putting the camera down for a second, and then I'm going to go ahead and drill through that. All right, so now that I've got the hole, I got a big enough hole you could drive a bus through it. But you know, it's a 1-inch hole, and you need a large hole for this, essentially for this connector to go through. So you got to have a pretty decent size hole, and that's okay, because we'll seal it up and then we'll color match it when we seal it, and it won't even be noticeable. All right, so the next step is that you need to go back up to the base of where the mast comes into that sheet metal pivot bracket. Loosen that up. Lay the antenna mast down over your shoulder. Kind of turn around and pivot on your ladder a little bit. Be safe. And then you can kind of reach and you can access the end of the antenna that way. So you just go a couple steps down on the ladder and you can get to it. It'll actually fall like right there. And then go ahead and cover up the connection after you've attached the LMR 240 to the base nice and snug. Come back with this coax seal and go ahead and cover up that connection. You start from the top, right up around where the antenna base is, and you go all the way down to the black wire of the LMR 240 and cover that up with this coax seal. And then push it in and kind of really knead it into the little crevices, and then come back, and you're going to go ahead and wrap back around all of that again with electrical tape. And when you do that, you've got UV protection. All right, so we've got the antenna, basically it's mounted, and everything's tight. There's a couple things left to do though. I've mounted the wire. I put the electrical tape over the top of the self-sealing tape, the waterproofing tape on that connection. I've got the zip ties on the wire. You can see I've got the wire on the back side of the pole because once I put this up, I don't like seeing the black wire if I can avoid it. But I have the antenna on the outside because I want to give the antenna as much benefit as it can to get a good signal in the direction that I feel is important. So anyway, so I've got the wire. This is the LMR 240. It's going up to a green. That's going up to a hole that's going in right in the same hole where we have a 10 gauge wire. And once I get these wire ties clipped off, I'll be going in and putting this mast up and bolting down the mast. I'll be ready to go inside. So I'll give you one more shot of the mast up in the air after I put her up. All right, so we hope that was informative for you. So now you have all the information you need to get that antenna mast up on your roof in a safe way. So safety first, don't forget about that. Now, we really want to make sure that we're answering all your questions. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. We'll make sure we get back to you right away. And for sure, if you can, please like and subscribe to the channel and bookmark this video. All that really helps to help us continue to provide this kind of content for the Helium community. So thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time.